I mean, we've missed a lot, I feel like.
No,
So you were
I rewound it. We're
okay.
starting at the
Oh, we're
beginning.
live?
All right. Yeah, we're
Hi.
live. All right, we're back. Sorry, I'm an idiot. All right, all right, so this is right at the beginning of it. Hopefully the volume works. Let us know in the
Let's
comments.
give some people a chance to get back in.
Mr. Miu, when we finished, I think we were getting to the.
Should I pause it a bit
Yeah, but don't you want
and
to see
wait
the
for
lawyers'
folks to
slides
come back
too?
in?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let me see. Okay. All right.
I was trying to come up with
Right.
something
I'm
so
just
you know.
gonna start it. I'm starting it. People will come in when they come in. Okay.
The chronological space that we had begun the morning on. And so I want to start from there again and then move forward from there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
When I had asked you before, you talked about how you felt, but since that time, you've told the jury that you had this fear scale. Okay?
Mhm.
So I want to ask you about, at this time, what we see here, what you've previously described the scene, right?
Mhm.
How were you feeling on the fear scale?
About the 6, 7.
Okay. And at some point, I think you told them before, but just so we can put it into the context here, did you do something in response to something that was done to you when you're standing there in this moment?
Yes. After I was pushed, and both sides, I would say, squeezed. I was afraid, so I pulled out my knife.
Okay. Did you do something with your left hand at some point?
Yes, I did.
What'd you do with your left hand?
I pushed her away. I
And when you
pushed
say you
Madison.
Push
away.
Madison away. When you,
You pause a sec,
was the
babe. I got a
purpose in
question.
that to have contact with her?
What?
So maybe everyone else knows, but I missed some of the other testimony. I've seen some and I've seen the video. So what precise moment in time? Because to me, it makes a difference of when the actual knife came out. Because in their opening, that video made it seem like it came out really early. So do we know when he's asking her, when the attorney is asking at this point in time, do we know what point in time specifically he's referring to?
He claimed on the stand that it came out at the time that he was having the confrontation with the woman Maddie, the woman that some people claim that he hit.
The
So
one
when
that was
she
just yelling
screamed,
in his face.
right, the one that was yelling in his face, he claims that's when he pulled it out.
Because someone
Or that
here
he was
just
starting to get it ready. He was starting to get it ready.
okay. Because if he's down, if he's
So-
to me, if he's down in the water, it makes a big difference of like if he has been down and it's like in that time, to me, it makes a difference than if he's like pulling it out when Maddie's yelling at him, because then that is ridiculous. He could have just,
Yeah.
there was, to me, there's no fear of death or imminent harm by, that woman yelling at you.
Okay.
But if he was in
All
the
right,
water,
so-
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it might have been justified. Like he had 11 people around him screaming like lunatics, calling him a pedo,
When I
child
first saw it,
raper. I mean, it's a lot.
it's a lot.
All right, so how does the sound? Because I don't know if you guys are just hearing it through my Mac speakers and the mic is catching it, or if you're hearing the feed from the audio. So hopefully the sound's all right. I don't know. Let's keep going.
And to get her to back up?
Yes.
Did you have a purpose to cause her pain?
No.
Were you trying to hurt her?
No.
What were you trying to do?
I was trying to push her away from my space. She was right in my space, my face.
Why didn't you just back up?
I couldn't back up at that moment.
Okay, when you say you couldn't back up, why not?
I
Because
would've-
you felt uncomfortable, or were you?
Objection leading.
Because I would have had to.
Wait, there's objection. Sustained on leading. Next question.
Wasn't done with it. Were you uncomfortable, or was there a wall behind you, or was there some other reason? Why did you feel like you couldn't back up?
I didn't feel safe turning my back on those people.
Okay. How about just taking a step backwards?
Well, I was standing my ground. I didn't move towards anybody.
Okay.
They're coming at me.
When you raised your left hand and you did that, do you recall when you pushed her away having contact with her?
I may have, yes.
Okay. Do you remember in particular where, if at all, you touched her?
No.
Okay. Would it surprise you if you touched her?
No.
Was that, in fact, your purpose in pushing her away?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She was in my space.
I want to move forward here. And you can turn the slide off, I guess.
Absolutely not, Leanne.
After you did that, right? Did something happen to you?
Yeah.
Did people do something to you?
Yeah.
What was done to you?
Yeah, almost right away I got punched and fell in the
And
water
where did you get punched?
on my face, on my side of the head.
Now, you've had a chance to watch this video, correct?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to see these 4,800 slides?
Yes.
Prior to seeing that, did you remember everything?
No.
Have the video or the slides help you to refresh your memory in some way?
A lot.
Have you remembered everything because you've seen that?
Not everything, no.
Do you remember something different than what you see in the video?
No.
You don't remember any of the things different than that you see in the video, like you talked about the goggles?
Objection leading.
Overruled. We're just trying to reorient the witness to a place where examination can continue.
Are there some times when your memory is different from what the video is?
Yes, of course.
Now, this series that I want to show you is about things that were done to you, okay?
Yes.
Do you have a specific memory about everything that was done to you?
No.
Do you have a specific memory about everything that you did in response to what was done to you?
No.
Do you have a memory about how you felt in those moments?
I would say yes, I do.
Do you have a memory of what you believed in those moments based upon those feelings?
Of course.
So I want to show you the slide here. Again, this is slide 2661, 2662, and 2681. That's fine. Do you remember how you felt when you fell back into the water?
I was, number one, I was stunned. That's why I fell backwards. I was very afraid, of course.
On this fear scale that you've talked about before, where are you on that scale from 0 to 10?
Right at the top, 10.
Have you ever been at that 10 before in your life?
Never been in a situation like this or a fight in my life.
Have you ever been at a 10?
Never.
When you did that, as we see on the right, what happened to your head?
Oh, well, I fell in the water. Obviously, that's a river, and I hit my head on river rock, and my whole body went under. Well,
Okay.
my head went underwater.
When you say your head went under, is that what it felt like?
Yes,
Did you feel water come over your face?
over my
Objection.
entire body.
Hold on,
Yes.
hold on. What's the objection?
Leading.
Sustained.
Where did you feel the water on your body?
Over my face, my mouth.
Okay.
I felt like I was submerged in water at the moment.
Did you try to get up?
Yes,
Why did you want to get up? Why didn't you just lay down there peacefully in the water?
to drown. No, I wouldn't want to do that. I wanted to get up out of the water.
At that moment, when you're down in the water, had anybody like AJ Martin come up to you and said, just lay there and rest?
Somebody came from behind. Yes, I found out later who he was and pushed me down and to keep me in the water.
Before that, when you tried to get up, do you remember feeling anything before that? Did you told them,
Yeah,
did you feel anything to any part of your head?
yes, of course.
What'd you feel?
Felt punched in the head.
Showing you the next slides, is that 2701, 2705, 2706? What's happening to you there?
I'm getting hit on the head.
how many times at that point is your memory of watching the video and your memory of experiencing this, have you been hit in the head now, but either by people or by the ground or by the water?
Do you want me to pause it?
Well, are they showing the pictures or no? We're not seeing them anyway.
No,
I don't know.
when they show them, they'll
Okay.
swing the
I didn't
camera over there. So I want to
didn't know if
ask you though, what is your feeling in terms of, so he, after this was all done, he lied to the cops, like about how everything went down. He said that he had taken the knife from one of the kids, blah, 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 told various lies, you know, in terms of consciousness of guilt in this situation, because of the way that it went down. I don't know that it matters. You know what I mean?
so
Like in that moment, I think that like when he left, I don't know that he know that he, or that he knew that he killed anyone. You know what I mean? I think he knew that he probably, you know, stabbed a couple people. You know
I
what I
think he
mean?
okay, so this is my
Well, one of
opinion.
the kids, yeah,
Ready? So
yeah.
the fact that some of the lies, I don't really think it's necessarily, you know, consciousness of guilt. I mean, it's obviously consciousness of guilt, but I don't find it that incriminating. What really, to me, I found to be, let's say, incriminating based on what he lied about was when he said he was scared because, and I don't remember what he said anymore, but his answer wasn't, I thought I was going to drown. It was like something about them having a knife on him, you know, because I think he could, it's very fair to have been afraid that someone's going to knock him out in the water and he's going to drown. But if I recall correctly, his answer as to what he was afraid of, that was a lie.
Wait, right now, in this
No,
testimony or previously, or
no,
what he
I
said to the
didn't.
cops?
What he said to the cops, at least what I heard, I don't know if that was in the opening or where I heard it, that he said something that was not, you know, like he lied about what he was scared about. Like, I think it was maybe that they had a knife on him and that's why he was scared. Eventually, because eventually I think he admitted that he was self-defense, but he gave the reason for his fear was not accurate, if I recall correctly. So I apologize for not really
No,
knowing.
it's
And I was trying to look up the statute because somebody asked, so I didn't know under which letter, which actual statute that he got charged with
he's charged
because
with first degree intentional
right,
homicide.
they've got a
And they don't,
couple
somebody told me they don't have voluntary manslaughter there, that it all falls under second degree.
right, and that's why I
So
was looking at different, you know,
so
they've got
check,
A.
see if you can find that statute.
I was looking for
Because
the
somebody,
indictment. If someone could give me the indictment so I know what
Dizzy will
letter,
pull up the indictment. Just ask
right?
Dizzy. She'll pull it
Have
up
her
for
text
us.
me. Give her my number, babe.
Okay, I will. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
4 times at least.
Okay. At this point in time, where's your fear scale?
10.
When this happened to you, did you immediately get up or did you fall back in the water or did something else happen?
I tried getting up, but I couldn't.
Did you, at some point, did you feel something on your backside?
There was somebody pushing me down.
And when you felt that on your backside, did you feel anything else anywhere else?
I got hit in the face, in the front of my head.
And is that exhibit here, 2147, do you see that hand through the underarm there?
Yes,
Do you remember getting hit in the head there?
yes,
Was that a gentle hit?
no.
When you're getting hit in the head here again, where are you at on the fear scale at that point?
10,
Have you been able to get up out of the water?
no.
How many people do you know? How many people are attacking you?
At the time, I didn't know, but I knew there were more than I could handle.
Did it feel like it was, how many people did it feel like?
Like 10,
Okay. You've seen the video and you responded at some point, is that right?
yes,
And you used your knife in response.
yes.
Why do you use your knife?
I feared for my life.
Did you think you could get out of there without using your knife?
I couldn't even get up. They're pushing me down. No, so the answer is no.
In that time when you're down on the ground, did you think there was a way for you to escape?
No,
Did you feel like you could just crawl away or run away or walk away or do anything else to escape?
not in that position.
The next day after this, July 31st, were you in the, did you feel, how did your body feel the next day?
I hurt everywhere. My head hurt, my throat hurt. Obviously, my back hurt. I hurt everywhere.
You said your throat hurt. Is that something you remembered that day before when you were speaking with Brandy Hart?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Did you mention it to Brandy Hart?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you see anything when you felt the pain about your throat? Did you see anything that refreshed your memory about what caused that pain to your throat?
After watching the video, yes.
What happened?
I got hit in the throat.
Do you remember that
Hard.
now?
Yes.
If I can. Showing you the slides 2993, 2994, and 2997. Is that you?
Yes.
What's happening to you there?
Somebody is going for my throat, squeezing my throat.
Do you remember how that felt?
Jeez. I didn't see that in the
I
video.
felt pain. I couldn't breathe. Scared, afraid.
I'm showing you the next set of slides here, 2998, 99, and 3000. What did you think was going to happen to you in that moment?
The whole time I felt like I was going to die. So basically I feared for my life.
And in response to that, here's slide 3000. Did you do something in response to that?
I reached out and stabbed him.
When you used your knife, and again, this is open-ended, you can ask it any way you want. Were you trying to kill somebody?
Absolutely not.
What were you trying to do?
I was just trying to defend myself.
After this was, again, we've seen the video, you talked to investigator Hart. So I want to ask you a little bit about that for a moment. Make sense?
Mhm.
Do you independently, well, let me say, you've watched the video here in court, correct?
Yes,
And you watched the video prior to that. We've watched it together, right?
yes.
Does watching that video refresh your memory? Do you have an independent memory of that conversation with investigator Hart?
No,
Do you remember what it is you said other than seeing things on the video?
other than I lied about the knife. That's what I remember, afterward. Yeah, I lied about the knife.
Do you remember actually saying that in that moment, or you just remember seeing that and that's what you remember seeing?
I remember seeing it in the video.
Do you remember how you were feeling during that time at all? Do you have any memory about that?
Not much.
Just
So
Okay.
at least this is what it says when I pull up the actual statute. So 1A, whoever causes the death of another human with intent to kill that person or another person is guilty of a felony. But then they have, wait, sorry. 1040-01A1. I thought I just read 01A1. I thought I just read something about reckless, which is weird. 940-01A1. They do have a reckless one that says whoever recklessly causes the death of another human being under circumstances which show utter disregard for human life is guilty of a Class B felony. And it says that this is pulling up under 940.01A1, but when I do 940.01A1, that's just the regular 01A1. Whenever a person causes the death of another human being with the intent to kill that person is guilty of a Class A felony.
I wonder why they didn't, like, I don't understand why they wouldn't include the lesser includeds, you know, like,
Right,
is it
and that's gonna
possible?
be a good legal question, is whether or not the defense should propose a lower, you know, the first degree reckless homicide, which says that's 940.02, whoever recklessly causes the death of another human being under circumstances which show utter disregard for human life is guilty of a Class B felony. That's first degree reckless homicide.
Yeah. I mean, I'm leaning heavy towards straight up self-defense. I mean, if I'm in that situation, I'm probably thinking I'm getting killed. Like, honestly, I don't know. All right, let's keep rolling.
Yes. Just noteworthy here, '03 is felony murder and '04 is abortion. Wow, I'm gonna have to read that one.
Mm.
That's crazy.
Wow.
One other thing out of the timeline here. Since that time, we've heard testimony, you have a twin brother.
Yes,
Is he here in the courtroom?
yes.
Objection relevance, Your Honor. Overruled. You may continue.
Just briefly, because I want to ask you about conversations that you may have had with your twin brother. Just briefly. How do you feel about your twin brother?
I love him.
Objection. That's irrelevant, Your Honor.
Give him some leeway.
During this time, have you had conversations with your twin brother?
Yes,
Do you consider there to be anybody that you're really, maybe your wife, anybody you're closer to than your twin brother?
No.
You and your twin brother, when you speak, what language do you speak in?
Romanian.
Why do you speak in Romanian with your twin brother?
It's the easiest way to find words to describe what we're thinking.
Okay. Is that where you grew up?
That's the first language.
Are there times when you've spoke with your brother that you've talked about this, what happened to you on the river?
Yes,
Is your memory about what you did or what was done to you, is it any better when you talk to your brother than it is when you talk about other times?
no,
Are you always getting it right?
no.
How about your feelings? Your memory about your feelings?
Mhm.
Do you get those right?
Yes, but almost all the time. The feeling is imprinted in my heart, my soul, my mind.
Let me, just for a moment, I'll bring us back to the river on July 30th, okay?
Mhm.
At some, I think you'd said on the video and maybe you testified that people attacked you, is that right?
Correct.
At some point, did people stop attacking you?
No.
At some point, did people stop attacking you?
Yes,
When people stopped attacking you, what did you do?
I walk away.
Okay. Why didn't you stay?
Oh God. I walked away towards my group where it was safe. I was afraid of the people that I just had contact with.
When you're walking away, and you've talked about this fear scale, where are you on the fear scale? Does it just go down right to 0? Does it stay at 10? Does something else happen?
No, as soon as I saw the people I trusted, my fear level started creeping down.
When you say creeping down, when you're walking back, can you give us where are you on that scale?
As I was getting closer to my group, the fear factor is going lower and lower.
But when you first start walking back, what's the number level?
About 8.
When you get back to the tubes, what's the number level?
About 4, 5.
I think we didn't talk about it. We've talked a little bit about your body response during this
Mhm.
brief time. When you start walking back, how's your body responding to you?
I had cramps. I felt like I lost. I had diarrhea, so I felt like I lost my bowel,
Was that
which I did.
was that when you were walking back, or was that when you were in that 10 seconds of things happening to you and you responding?
I was when the action was going on in the 10-second frame.
You've got diarrhea.
Yes.
When you were walking back, what else is your body? What are you feeling with your body?
Well, heartbeat is getting, when I'm walking back, the heartbeat was very, very high. Now it's going down a little bit, breathing, that's what I remember. Remember, I was super, super stressed.
How about your head? As you're going back, is your head clear? Is your head in a different state? How can you describe like what's going on in your head?
My head was in a fog. It was like thick fog. I couldn't think, I couldn't realize what I've been through.
Were you trying to make sense of it?
I was trying, but there was no sense to be made. I was completely confused and in a fog.
And when you walked away, you had the knife in your hand. Is that right?
Yep.
When you got to your group, did you still have the knife?
No.
What happened to the knife?
On the way back, I tossed it on the bank.
And you just made with your right hand kind of a underhand motion
Yeah.
with your right hand from, at your side, raising up to maybe level with you. Is that fair representation of what you were describing?
Correct.
Why'd you toss the knife?
I don't know. I was afraid. Felt like I had to throw it away.
What were you afraid of at that point?
I was overwhelmed with just fear, residual fear. And I didn't want to have anything to do with that.
Okay. We've heard testimony that eventually you get back to the tubes. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Where's your memory about that? Right now, as you sit here, because we don't have a video about that, we don't have photos of that, what's your memory like about that?
Barely remember anything.
Do you remember talking to people?
I remember people trying to talk to me, but I don't know. I don't remember what I said.
Okay. You've heard some testimony about things that you might have said. Are you denying you said any of those things?
No.
Do you know what you said?
After watching the video, yes.
The video isn't I'm confused. The tubes, there's no video of you at the tubes. When you say,
Oh, after.
were you talking about
Yes.
Brandy Hart's statements?
Yes, yes.
Okay. About what you said to the people at the tubes. Do you have any memory of that?
No.
Okay. When you're sitting there at the tubes, how were you feeling in your head? You talked about this fog, right? If you could put that on a scale, where is that?
I still couldn't, my head was in a thick cloud. I couldn't understand what just happened. Still trying to process everything. I was overwhelmed.
Did you think at any point you were just casual about what had happened?
No.
Did this feel casual to you in any way?
No.
At some point, you saw the video here. You had contact with the police, is that right?
Yes.
You had sat in the back of a squad car of the Sheriff Knutson, is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember much of anything about that?
No.
Do you remember, you've seen some of the videos today. Can you tell us, what do you remember?
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing at all? How about a feeling? Do you remember a feeling at all?
Yeah, I was still very afraid.
Okay. When you say very afraid, what were you afraid of at that point?
Well, I've been through a horror situation, but in their presence, I wasn't that afraid, but I was stunned. I don't remember much about it.
Do you remember watching the video here in court when the police were talking about a guy with a bat?
Oh, yeah,
Do you remember anything about that?
a little bit.
Do you remember how that made you feel?
Oh, yeah, I felt very afraid of him. Very afraid.
We watched the video of you with Sheriff Knutson. That was about 23 seconds long. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Have you watched a longer portion of that video with your attorneys?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember saying more things to Sheriff Knutson after that?
I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. We saw a video here about your being arrested and told that you were arrested for homicide. Did you remember that?
After watching the video, memory came back, but I don't remember that.
Okay.
Naturally.
When you're talking with either, at some point you go and you meet with Investigator Hart, is that right?
Yeah.
When they were talking about homicides and injuries, can you tell me what's your mindset? Did that make sense to you? Did you understand that?
No, I couldn't make any sense of anything that she was telling me. I just couldn't make sense of it. Plus, I don't remember the meeting with her.
Okay. Right now, as you sit here, you're like, I don't remember that.
Right.
The feelings, now, some of the times that you talk with Randy Hart, you talk about what you saw happening or heard happening or what you did. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you get all of that right?
No.
Your feelings, when you were talking about your feelings about and how you believed and your fear.
All right. So just so people understand, obviously he's going to get cross-examined by the state after he's done with this direct testimony. What he's doing now is he's fronting all of the warts, all of the negative things that the defense or the state is going to be coming after him with, like specifically him lying to law enforcement. So that's what we do a lot of times. If we know there's going to be an issue that's going to come up on cross and it's going to be something that the state is going to completely and totally focus on, what we do is we try to offset it on direct by having him being able to have the ability to explain in a direct setting, because in direct examination, witnesses can give more of a narrative, whereas with cross-examination, a good defense attorney or a good attorney is going to control the cross-examination and should only be asking yes or no questions. You don't want to leave the defendant or the witness with the ability to be able to just go on and on and on. So that's what he's doing right now, just so you guys have an understanding of what's happening.
And let me just comment. So the way their first degree statute works is that their mitigating circumstances are part of an affirmative defense that you have to assert, but it only mitigates to second degree, which is a class B and can carry up to 60 years. The mitigating circumstances are adequate provocation, where death is caused under the influence of adequate provocation, as defined by means sufficient to cause a complete lack of self-control in an ordinary constituted person. Provocation means something which the defendant reasonably believes the intended victim has done, which causes the defendant to lack self-control completely at the time of causing death. So adequate provocation is only an affirmative defense to first-degree intentional homicide and reduces it to second degree, as does unnecessary defensive force, where the death was caused because the actor believed he or she or another was in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, and that force was necessary to defend that endangerment if either belief was unreasonable. So again, that's why it mitigates it. If your belief was unreasonable, then, and I don't think either here he didn't have the belief or it was reasonable. I would, again,
Does
depending
anything mitigate it down to reckless that you're seeing?
No,
or is it?
no. And then prevention of a felony is death was caused. That's the third one. Death was caused because the actor believed that the force used was necessary in exercise of the privilege to prevent or terminate the commission of a felony if that belief was unreasonable. So, and then you've got coercion or necessity. Death was caused in the exercise of a privilege under their necessity statute, which would be the actor's conduct occurs under circumstances of coercion or necessity so as to be privileged, or the actor's conduct was in defense of persons or property under circumstances described in other parts of the statute. So it's a bunch of different statutes jumping around, but it's not going to do any good to be unreasonable force would just be, and I don't know if he's pled any affirmative defenses. I don't know if you guys know whether he's pled any affirmative defenses, but it would only get him down to second degree. So, I mean,
Well, he came with straight self-defense.
right. That would mean it was reasonable,
Right.
as opposed to
Exactly.
unreasonable. So he's put it all on the line with that, and I guess he really had to.
I mean, I think it's the right defense. I mean, if this guy walked into our office, I'd certainly be saying, well, this is self-defense. You know, I think it's easy for all of us sitting here watching it and watching that video to kind of say, oh, well, you know, why didn't he walk away? You know, when you're in a situation like that again culminated in like 5 minutes time, we're not able to put ourselves in the mindset of where anybody's mind was in that moment in time. You know, it's impossible for us to do that. I've been in fights. You know, I've been the dude on the ground that has 8 people pounding the shit out of them before. You know, it's like I mean, if I had a knife, I probably would have pulled it out and you know, it's like you're just getting the shit beat out of you and you think you're gonna die. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty much 100% on self-defense here at this point. This guy's not a creep. Like, if you can't like this, he seems like just a normal, decent human being that was out on that river and shit just went sideways in a way that it never should, with a bunch of punks screaming that this guy's a pedo and a raper. What? All right, let's go.
I mean, they were drunk teenagers that, you know what I mean?
Okay, dude, if our teenager's drunk and she's out screaming that people are rapers, there were no kids in sight. I don't even know like where they
No, I
came up
agree.
with this.
It was like,
ridiculous.
it was,
Somebody, and no, he came back. He didn't say he was looking for the goggles. He had the goggles in his mouth. He said he was looking for his friend's phone. So there is no way that they confused goggles for girls. I don't know what, like, somebody put that in the comments. I reject that notion.
I feared for my life. That's one thing I can't deny. That's embedded in my head forever. I feared for my life. I know that. I have nightmares.
You've talked to, or yeah, tell us about those nightmares.
I have them every night.
What happens in those nightmares?
Objection, Your Honor. It's irrelevant. It's just, these nightmares are irrelevant. The fact that he had them, maybe, but not the content. No.
Can I approach?
Yes.
White noise. They got white noise going.
it's next Tuesday, by the way.
So it's true, Steve. She came up. She was grabbing a charger. Yeah, just leave it open. All right, so they're having a sidebar here. Max, I think that they said that the nightmares were not relevant. So I think his lawyer stepped up on a sidebar in order to try to explain to the judge why he thinks it may be relevant.
I think it's him trying to show just how real the fear was at the time, but it's a stretch.
It is. Yeah, I can, Sarah, I can try to show the video if I can figure out. It's a lot of tech for me, Sarah. Let me see. I think I have the video saved.
So, while this is going on, I'll just say again, and I'm sure it'll maybe come out more on Cross, but the timing of when he took I guess when people were stabbed is really obviously what's going to make a difference to me. If it's while he's, like trying to get up from the water and getting pushed back down, I think it's a very realistic fear that you could be knocked unconscious in the water. Worst case, knocked unconscious, and if not drowned by these people pushing you down. But from like a moral perspective, like a human being perspective, if he had it out when the woman was like yelling at him and he was upright, that's when you say, look, MFers, I've got a knife. Everybody just back the F up before this gets ugly, and then you've got to kind of.
That was the one thing about them brandishing. Let me try to fast forward through this white noise.
That day.
Why do you on the Apple River?
Do the click, click. Oh, there you go.
This has to be, it's got to be close.
There you go. Oh, you were going to try to play the video, but I guess you'll play it.
No, I'm going to send it to I'm going to send myself the video. Okay. All right, I saved it. I should be able to play it at some point. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, CH, I do need a little.
Nick, I want to ask you some questions about those nightmares, okay? Just to put it in a tight little box, okay? You've had nightmares?
Yes.
And the nightmares have been about what happened to you on the Apple River when you were attacked.
Correct.
And the nightmares are essentially a replaying of what it is that happened. Agreed?
Correct.
And when you have those nightmares, your body responds.
Yes.
Oh boy. More white noise.
Like tap tap.
No, it doesn't work. I can't get it to work. It just pauses on the Mac. I don't know.
Oh. There you go. It looks like he's talking again.
It does. Wait, I think it went back too goddamn far.
I think he did too. Okay.
Down in the water, did you believe you could escape?
No.
What do you believe would have happened to you had you not used your knife?
I would have died. I believe I would have been killed that day.
Why'd
Or at
you
that specific time
use your knife?
to defend myself.
Those are the only questions I have, Judge.
Just missed that.
An approach, Judge. Mr. Miu, you've been drinking that day, right?
Yeah, I had a
And
Like
showing us the
beers.
mark, Exhibit 12A. Recognize that?
yes.
That's the group photo of you folks from the beginning of the river.
Yep.
In fact, you're holding a beer.
Correct.
Like everybody in your group has some sort of alcoholic beverage.
Looks like it.
You see numerous people in your group with these phone cases around their necks.
Yeah.
And as you're going down the river, you saw lots of people with phone cases around their necks, right?
Hmm.
All day long.
Yeah.
In fact, River's Edge sells or rents out those phone cases, right?
I don't know that.
Did people in your group rent or buy phone cases from the tube rental?
I have no
Same.
idea.
Right? testified that you were told to bring the knife before you left your home, right?
Correct.
And the reason for bringing your knife on the river was to cut strings or ropes for the tubes, right?
Correct.
And that was the reason you brought it.
Correct.
In fact, you told the police that after your tubes were tied together, you thought you put your knife back in the car, right?
Correct.
But in fact, it was in your pocket.
Yes.
Was it in your pocket the whole day?
No.
All right, well, we're going to get to that. Once the tubes are tied together with the rope, and you said that you thought that you put it back in your car, you don't have a reason to have the knife anymore, right? It accomplished its purpose, right?
I didn't know that at the time.
All right. Did you tell the cops, that the police, that you didn't think you were going to need it, and that's why you thought you put it in the car?
I may have.
All right. Were you present when Steve Kaufman, who owns River's Edge, testified first day of the trial?
Yes.
And you heard him say that they sell pre-cut cords for $1, right?
Right.
All right. And then, did you see in the picture, when you got on the river, you were wearing that long sleeve camel shirt, right?
Mhm.
A hat and sunglasses?
Correct.
All right. Ariel's phone was in one of those cases, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
All right. And is it your understanding that those cases are float cases?
That's what I was told.
All right. And in fact, you told Lieutenant Hart that it wasn't a float case, right?
Correct.
Once the phone disappeared, there was conversation amongst the folks in your group about whether it was even worth it to go look for it, right?
That's what I learned.
And in fact, you were told that they didn't care about the lost phone because they had insurance to cover it, right?
That's
So
what
what?
I learned here, but I don't remember that as a conversation.
Nobody asked you to go look for the phone, right?
Correct.
You chose to do that on your own.
I volunteered.
And in fact, members of your group were a little annoyed that you were stopping again so quickly after having been at the hideaway where you had stopped for lunch.
Sustained.
Did you hear anybody in your group say, why are we stopping again?
I didn't stop the group.
The group stopped when you decided to go off on your own to look for this phone, right?
Overruled.
Right?
They already stopped. I got off the tube to look for so I didn't stop them.
In any event, you're the one who insisted on looking for it. Nobody asked you to do that, right?
What an asshole
Sustained.
going to look for his buddy's phone.
And when you left to go look for the phone, you had your goggles and your snorkel, right? You knew that the phone was in a float bag, at least that's what you told police afterwards, right?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
So the phone and the float bag would have been floating, right?
Supposedly,
All right, and so you
Well,
wouldn't
it's
need a
under the
snorkel and goggles
tubes.
to find a phone floating on top of the water, right?
I wasn't sure if it was actually floating or not. Never tested it.
All right, well, you would agree that a phone has some weight to it,
Yes.
and if it wasn't a float bag, it would sink to the bottom, right?
Yes.
Where it was dropped.
Correct. Well, or remember,
Partially floating.
it's a river, so
Sure.
it could have flown down.
The river has current, right?
Right. So it
If
could
I
have
can
flown.
approach, I'm gonna draw something here.
Yes.
You remember when you met with Lieutenant Hart, you drew a diagram
Bob
of the
error.
river.
Me?
That's what I was answering, Jay. Oh, wrong thing.
All right, and this is your group up here at the sandbar, right?
Mhm.
This is the boys group down here. I'll put initials IS for Isaac Schumann, right?
Correct.
This is what you.
So far,
the
this is
diagram
all
you wrote, drew
I think.
for-
To act like he just literally wanted to kill people is
Oh,
just
it's lost over
insane.
here.
Right. It's
Right?
not. It's not
Instead
the
of
right
looking
approach for the state.
Downstream for it, where the current was going, you went this way, across the current,
No,
to look for the phone. You made contact with Isaac Schuman's group on the other side of the river.
But that's not where I started looking for it, straight across the river.
That's where you ended up making contact with
I
him.
ended up there, but I didn't start there.
All right. The phone would not have floated across the current, right?
Well, I don't know where he lost it. That's where we pulled over. He could have lost it minutes before we even anchored.
So when you testified a minute ago that the phone was lost, where your group was labeled M, now you're changing that story?
In that vicinity.
Again, members of the jury, what the attorneys say is not evidence. Rely on the witness's testimony. Next question, please.
In any event, it's your testimony that you had reason to go over to the south side of the river where Isaac Schuman's group was to look for a phone. That's your story?
I had reason to search in that area. I didn't know where that phone fell in the water. I don't think even Ariel knew where he lost it. We didn't drop the phone when we anchored. He dropped the phone before we got there.
Fair to say that at that point in the river is 150 feet wide,
Yep,
and Isaac Schuman's group was on the south side of the river.
correct.
Your group's on the north side of the river.
100 feet.
Rather than searching the north side, you went to the south side of the river. Is that fair to say?
Already looked in that area.
That's not what I'm asking. You went over to the south side of the river, right?
Sorry.
Overruled. You can answer the question.
You did, right?
What was that question?
You
again?
went over to the south side of the river to supposedly look for this phone, right?
I ended up there at that point, yes.
And you chose to go over
This
there
is
and
the
look for
state's
where these
attorney.
boys
This
were.
isn't the defense attorney. This is the cross.
Overruled. You can answer the question.
Oh,
You chose to go over to where these boys were to supposedly look for this phone, right?
chose to look in that area, yes.
There was other areas of the river where these boys weren't located that you could have searched until they floated past. Right?
A million other spots.
Sure. But you chose to go to that spot.
I didn't even notice those boys there at the time when I was searching.
You were present in court when Eric Williams, who was a member of your group, testified, right?
Right?
You heard him testify,
Yes,
and you were here when he testified that he had some concerns about you going over to snorkel by this group, Isaac's group.
I heard him.
And one of his concerns is that he thought that they would think you were a predator, right?
Sustained.
He testified that you didn't have your knife in your pocket the whole time, right?
Correct.
When you decided to go snorkel over by Isaac Schuman's group, you had the knife in your pocket.
Yes.
Did you go back to your group and get it?
No, I had the knife. I testified I did not have the knife in my pocket the whole time. When we pulled over there, I fixed my shoes. Then I left it in my pocket.
All right, but somehow, so when you get ready to snorkel,
Yes,
you've taken off your shirt, right?
yes,
Your hat,
yes,
your sunglasses.
correct.
You left the knife in your pocket.
I forgot it in my pocket.
Well, on the video, we can see you touching your knife, right? You knew it was in your pocket.
Well, when you walk, it starts, yeah, but
It has weight,
Right,
right?
yeah.
So you can't forget it's there because it's got weight. Correct?
at some point I forgot I had it in my pocket when, yeah,
You
when you
weren't, gonna-
walk.
you were not going to need your knife to snorkel and look for a lost phone.
correct.
Overruled.
You weren't going to need your knife for that task that you set out to do, right?
I wouldn't even need anything.
But you brought it with you anyhow.
It happened to be in my pocket, yes.
When she got over to where Isaac Schuman's group was, they made it readily apparent they did not want you over by them, correct?
That's not true.
They didn't call you names?
Yes, but they asked me what I was looking for. And I thought they were polite people. I said, I'm looking for my lost phone.
They did not want you by them, and they told you that, right?
Tough shit. They don't own the fucking river. Like this
At some
isn't
point,
private
yes.
property.
And that's the
Weird.
short video. You turn around and you're walking away.
I'm
right?
surprised he can't
Yes.
argue
But
like
then
objective relevance.
Juan Cockfield calls you a raper, right?
Yes.
And then you turn around.
Correct.
Yes.
You were angry.
I was not angry.
You were not angry that someone called you a raper.
No.
All right. You look at Juan, who's filming you, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, your testimony is that even though many people on the river have these phones and these float cases, you decided that was the phone and you needed to run up and check.
Objection argumentative. Sustained.
Your testimony earlier was you thought he had the phone, right?
I thought he had the phone. Yes.
Right.
I wanted to investigate.
And you, instead of walking up and saying, hey, is that the phone I'm looking for? You ran up on these boys, didn't you?
I ran up and stumbled, and then I fell right by their, yes,
That's my next question. You're claiming now that you stumbled.
yes.
You've never said that before today, ever, to anybody, any law enforcement or anybody else. Right?
But I have seen the videos now.
Well, we're going to take a look at the video.
Oh, there we go.
If we can't see it good, you can pause it and just play it because you have it now, right?
And since you reviewed the video, you know
I
that
have
before
it.
you
Me
ran
getting
up
it
on
is
them,
a whole nother issue.
you were touching your knife in your pocket to make sure it was there, right?
I don't remember that.
Well, let's take a look. Stop. Back up one.
Yeah, why they didn't leave him, I don't
That's
get.
you with your right hand touching your pocket where your knife was clipped in, right?
It appears so.
What is he on? Whoa! 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 Get away!
So you're claiming today that where you reach down and grab at these boys' legs where their tubes are, that was a stumble. Is that your story?
Overruled. You can answer the question.
I know I hit a stone, yes. But I grabbed onto their inner tubes.
See you, Steve-O. Love you, buddy.
And you know where you grabbed onto their inner tube is where two of these boys had their legs draped over their inner tubes, right?
I see that.
And you made contact with their legs, didn't you?
I don't remember that.
Did you see it on the video?
I see it on the video. I don't remember actually making contact.
And as soon as you did that, boys jumped out of their tubes to get away from you, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
And you held on to their tubes so that their tubes couldn't float away.
For how long?
Well, I'm asking you. You did,
Yeah, it looks like for a brief 1 second.
and you were searching through their tubes.
Or what?
You walked around their tubes rather than letting their tubes go so they could get back in their tubes and be on their way. You walked around their tubes.
So after my goggles dropped in the water, I went around their tubes to go to the other side and look for my goggles.
Let's talk about your goggles for a second, because you told the police, specifically Lieutenant Hart, that these boys knocked your goggles off your face and that you were looking for your goggles at that point, right?
I don't remember my interview with her, correct?
But you heard yourself say it in the interview.
Yes, yes.
And in fact, that nothing of the sort ever happened, right?
So the interview with Brandy Hart was not accurate.
What you said at the time is what you wanted the police to believe happened, right?
That's what I remembered at the
Okay.
time.
And from the video, you can see that you actually put your goggles in your mouth, so you would have 2 free hands to be able to grab onto these boys' tubes, right?
Yes.
So you were preparing for your stumble before it actually even happened?
I wasn't prepared for anything.
These boys were calling you names to go away, right? After you grabbed onto their tubes, touched their legs.
I don't remember any of that stuff.
All right, you don't remember them calling you, asking you what you were doing?
Watching the videos, yes, but unnatural remembering, no.
Do you remember as you're running up, they're saying, whoa, 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 what's he doing?
I don't remember that.
All right, but you've seen it on the video.
Yes.
And then once you've made contact with 2 of these boys' legs and grabbed onto their tubes, they started calling you a pedophile, right?
I don't remember when they started calling me.
Do you remember them calling you a pedophile at all? Or do you just know that from watching the video?
Correct.
You testified that they were calling you names earlier, right?
Right.
And that upset you.
It did not upset me.
Okay, your attorneys talked about your comfort scale and your fear scale. Let's talk about your anger scale, okay?
Mhm.
At the time you were called a raper, what was your anger scale at?
Maybe 1.
1 out of 10?
Yeah.
And that was enough to get you to run up on these boys, grab onto them, stop their tubes at a 1. Is that what you're saying?
Objection, argument, that's not what he said.
Sustained.
You don't like being humiliated, right?
Nobody does.
Your attorney has said that these boys were humiliating you.
Objection as to his.
Sustained on the form.
You're claiming that you were being taunted.
Objection, did not testify to that.
Sustained. Form.
But you ask, are you claiming? Or you're claiming this, right? Correct.
You had testified earlier that your shoes, there was problems with your shoes, but as you can see from the portion of the video we played so far, those shoes didn't prevent you from running up on these boys, right?
Yes, they did. There was, if I had better shoes, I could walk better, but I could still walk.
If you had better shoes, you would have been able to run up on them faster.
No, I mean, I could walk better. I wouldn't stumble. I wouldn't have a hard time walking.
All right, we're going to watch the video again, and I want you to, if you can, point out for everybody where you stumbled.
What is he on? Whoa!
You're not showing it.
Whoa! 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 Get away!
Did you watch it?
Yes,
So the stumble, is that something you remember or something that you think you see in the video?
something I remembered.
After you grabbed onto their tubes, stopped them, walked around their tubes, you took a few steps downriver and stood in the path they were floating in, right?
As to form.
Overruled. You understand the question, Mr. Miu?
Could you say it again?
After you left their tubes that first time, you took a few steps downstream and stood in their path where they would need to float, where they were floating, right?
For a few seconds, yes.
You didn't walk off to the south shore, which was close at that point, right?
I thought I walked far away from them that I didn't even watch them anymore at that point. So I don't know where they were at that point in time. But I was still looking for my goggles now.
Are you denying that you stood right in the path of their tubes?
At that moment in time, yes.
Now, when you ran up on these boys and grabbed onto their tubes and made contact with their legs, you weren't saying anything at that point, right?
No.
You didn't say anything like, hey, I think that's my phone or Ariel's phone.
I don't remember saying
Well,
anything.
you've seen the video.
Right.
You just ran up and grabbed onto him, right?
It appears that.
Was saying nothing. We can go up to the screen. We're going to look at some more frames here. We're starting 20-second mark, I believe. You stood in front of their tubes, right? This is at the 23-second mark.
For a brief moment.
All right, keep going. Stop. At that point, you had the entire river open to move in any direction, right?
Right.
You chose to just walk a few steps directly downstream from where their tubes were, right?
Correct.
The boys were yelling at you at this point, right? You remember that?
Yep.
They were making a commotion, right? They were loud,
Mhm.
and that attracted the attention of the folks in the Carlson group, right?
Mhm.
You've testified that Maddie Cohen walked over, right?
Yep.
You walked towards her,
Yes.
and the water level at the spot that you had contact with Maddie was about ankle deep from the video.
From the video, yes.
You told Lieutenant Hart you were standing in really shallow water, right?
Yep.
Maddie told you to leave the area, right?
She didn't say it that way, but yes.
She said, go, go, go.
And
She swore at you too, but she was telling you to go, right?
yeah,
You didn't go.
I was
Right.
trying to communicate with her what I was doing in the river.
You didn't leave, right?
No, not down the river.
Hold on, hold on. Overall,
If you want to pause it so I can
Did
try to
not
play this.
leave, right?
I
At the
didn't
time
go
that
in
she
the
came up
direction.
and,
No,
when she came up
Okay,
and
you
said,
wanna-
go, go,
You
go.
want to try to
you
play
chose-
the video?
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying. Why don't we'll wait till the cross is done.
Okay. All
I
right.
have it. I airdropped it to me. I just got to figure out how to share it.
Or I might be needing to leave you guys. I might have to say bye to everybody.
Why? Where are you going? What do you got going on?
Well, I had some work to do, but I can stay for a little longer if you want.
Yeah, stay for a little longer.
Okay.
Supposed to stay, right?
I wanted to talk.
You didn't like that she was yelling at you, right?
I only had like 2 or 3 seconds of direct verbal or whatever.
And you clearly didn't
Interaction.
like, you clearly didn't like she was swearing at you, right? And what you told her was not that you were looking for a phone, but that these boys took your goggles, right?
I don't remember what I told
Right.
her.
If it's on the video, did you say it?
If it's on the video, yeah,
You never mentioned you were looking for a phone.
I don't remember my conversation with
And
her.
in fact, after you told her that they took your goggles, you never said another word, right?
After that,
Right.
of course I did.
Talking about your anger scale, at the point where Maddie Cohen was yelling at you and pointing at you and swearing at you, where was your anger scale?
1,
And even with your anger scale being only 1, you started touching, fidgeting with the knife in your pocket, right?
I don't remember that.
Let's take a look at the video.
I mean, he does drop his goggles at some point, and it does appear that one of the kids grabbed it or that it disappeared.
Well, yeah, they fell out of his mouth when he was running up towards the tubes, like he had them in his mouth. six, Joanne, 6 young lads were in the group, and then five or six women came over. So there was like 11 or 12 people surrounding him.
So by the time he's
We're
talking to that
ready.
woman,
It's timestamp 135.
they had taken his thing. So, you know.
That's you touching your knife in your pocket, right?
Correct.
And at this point, you've got your back to the 2 girls who were yelling at you, right?
It's possible.
5:35.
So even though you were fearing for your life, you turned,
Objection. Now we said at that time.
Overall, let's get the question out.
you turned your back on these folks, right?
Where am I in that location as reference to the other people?
I get to ask the questions at this point, okay?
All right.
You're back at the 135 mark that we just watched. You've turned your back on these folks, right?
Okay.
Is that true?
Yes,
You
I
saw
see
it,
that. Yeah,
Right? You're touching your knife, but you got your back to them, right?
I see that in the picture.
And so at that point,
Oof.
you wouldn't have turned your back on these folks if you had fear of them, right?
Objection mischaracterizes his testimony.
They hadn't started shoving him into the ground yet.
Yes.
We can have the screen. Stopping at 135. So in that clip, that's the point where you had waved at your friends, right? You turned your back on the groups of people that were in the area, and you're touching your knife.
The hell is this?
Oh, damn it. I fucked up.
Dude, what
I
are
had
you
to-
doing,
All right. All right. I had the video up and then I don't know where it went.
babe?
Sorry.
What? You
I
got
stopped.
The group of 17-year-old boys, right?
Wow,
You remember doing that?
it was ballsy.
I had the video too. I don't know what
I don't
happened.
remember, but if I
I mean,
see it,
you're
Put it into context, it
slightly
would have
better
been
at tech than me.
At the point when Maddie Cohen tried to turn you away from those boys.
Slightly.
Remember doing that?
Yes.
And 1 second. If we can get the frame up. We're at timestamp 116. That's the look that you gave to those boys, right? At that time, at 116,
Yes.
that's the look on your face.
Yeah.
That's an angry look.
Not to me. I was annoyed, more than frustrated, but not angry.
At the point where you looked at the boys with that expression on your face, whatever it was, you had the entire river in front of you open to walk to, right? That's true.
Correct.
And instead you chose to turn back around where Maddie Cohen was, right?
I stood my ground. I basically stayed in the same location.
Right.
I didn't go towards anybody at that point.
You didn't take a step away either, did you?
No.
And at that point then, that's when Riley Madison joins her. You've got Madison and Riley standing in front of you, right?
I suppose that's the time. Yeah.
Two girls.
Yeah.
And these two girls standing in front of you touched your shoulders somewhat, right?
Mhm.
You never said yes?
Yes.
You never stumbled backwards or anything like that?
It wasn't somewhat, but
Well, let's take a look at the video.
All right, I'm doing it again. Here we go.
All right.
time it's
Allie
over.
wants. All right, so I'll pull this off. Allie wants to play the video real quick. Hold on, let me go over and pause the trial. Make it bigger, Bay. Can you make it a little bigger?
Can I make it bigger? Tell me if it's working because I'm watching it.
I'm hearing it. I see it. I see it and hear it from my end.
What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Get away from us. What? What's going on with y'all homie? He's on camera. Tripping. He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say? Yeah, what the hell? Who is this? Yes, yes. For the culture. Who is that? For the culture. Who is that? Who the hell is this? He's not even looking for little girls. He's not even looking for little
And then
girls.
maybe he turns his back on me.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Weirded us out. I didn't have that part on camera. What the hell is this guy's problem, bro? We're trying to have fun.
Wait a minute, time. Can someone can help me?
He's gonna play me. We don't want this one.
Maybe that's my touch.
Oh my
Push
God.
down, hit, push down, push down.
Oh my God.
Now he's got a knife in his hand.
Yeah.
He ain't a woman. He ain't a
Ooh,
woman.
that's something.
You just stabbed that kid.
Yeah.
He's dying. He's dying, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are we serious? Is this real? Oh my God. Who is that? Oh my God.
We're talking about a packed river.
All right, so the thing is in his mouth, so it's gonna drop.
Oh God! Yeah!
Now somebody's got it.
What the hell are you talking about?
See, right there, he's clearly looking for the goggles.
What's going on with
Yeah,
y'all?
no one's keeping him
He's
there.
on camera.
Stopping him from
Tripping.
going.
He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say? Yeah, what the hell? Who is this? Yes! Yes! For the culture! For the culture! Who is that? For the culture! Who is that? Who the hell is this? He said he was looking for little girl! He said he was looking for little girl! Yeah! That's exactly what he said. Weird us out. I even have that part on camera. What the hell is this guy's problem, bro? We're trying to have fun. He's gonna claim you. He's gonna claim you. We don't want this one.
All right, so this is 135 where they say he touched, at least if they're using this same video, where he touched his pocket.
Any full-grown adult in this chat that's saying that they wouldn't be terrified in that situation is full of shit. I'm
I mean, I
sorry.
think right now you're still just confused and shocked. Once that happens, you're terrified. And that's the guy who stabbed us coming back at him.
He hit a woman. He hit a woman.
Well, that person,
He hit a woman.
all right, so I don't know. Do you want me to keep sharing or we're done?
Yeah, no, I think. Have you guys seen the video enough for a frame of reference for those of you who haven't seen it? And they're right. The prosecution wasn't playing the sound, and the sound is important. The sound shows the chaos of the moment. You know, I mean, it's like that's a thing. All right,
Well, what I couldn't tell is, did the knife get pulled out while he was in the water or, beforehand? Because that's where I said, could he have said at one moment, once he's in the water, if that's when it comes out, I don't know that he could have said anything. And he did seem a little dazed and confused, like when he got up, whether he could have been like, all right, back the fuck up. I've got this knife in my hand now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were coming at him. Like the first kid that he stabbed came at him. Like, and you can see him stick him twice. All right, let's go back.
We're going to start a little bit earlier than the part I wanted to start at. It's at the 135 mark again, if we can put this screen up.
So it's around about right where we were. Oh, good.
Yeah, they don't play the sound for a reason.
Now, I have to say,
Take
if
the
I was the
screen down.
woman, I would have come up there and sort of told everyone
Yeah.
to shut the F up and asked what was going on
134.
of both sides instead of just screaming in someone's face like that. But, that's just me.
So at that point, you're touching your knife before Maddie and Riley are standing in front of you, right?
Appears that way.
Stop. You had said that your fear level was rising.
Mhm.
You had waved to your friends, right? That was the look on your face at the time, correct?
Mhm.
You're smiling.
I'm confused.
You're smiling.
I'm confused.
You're not smiling?
That's not a smile.
Yes, let's move on, please.
We should turn the screen on.
At 1 minute,
We'll get
you
the
can
screen
see
back.
Maddie and the other girl like walking towards them, like approaching. And by like 4 seconds after the mark, he keeps talking. They're right in his face. So they were close. They're making it seem like they're not there, but they are there.
Yeah, they're
And
right
I would
there.
assume that more adults coming would be to calm these kids down. But he's trying to
See,
wave
he's
his
trying to
friend.
wave his.
All
he's
right,
waving
so-
his friends up.
You had been fidgeting with your knife multiple times. You've got Riley Madison in front of you. I believe her testimony was she's a 115-pound woman. You got Maddie Cohen on your other side. This is when you choose to pull out your knife, right?
Overruled. Understand the question?
What does her weight have to do with me?
So you don't get to ask the
Oh, I'm
questions
sorry.
at this point. You pulled out your knife at this point with these two girls standing in front of you, right?
Yes,
And
All right.
you held it down by your belt line, right?
yes,
And you opened it up, right?
yes,
And this is before you had been punched or anything like that. You had that knife ready with these two girls standing in front of you.
That's when he could have said, I have a knife. So everybody back
Women.
up.
Two women.
Pardon me,
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
right?
Mhm.
And you didn't hold it up and say, hey, I have a knife, right?
to me, that would be a threat.
I'm not asking you that. You did not hold it up.
No,
And you didn't, in fact, you held it down by your side, right?
Overruled.
Isn't that what you did?
yes,
You didn't take a step back and brandish it and say, hey, back up, I have a knife, right?
correct,
You opened it down low and then you held it down low by your side, right?
correct,
And as you're doing that, you're smiling, right?
that's not a smile.
Well, let's take a look at the video.
I'm overwhelmed and annoyed.
And that's you holding your knife down by your belt line, right?
Yes,
When you pulled it out and opened it up, you held it with the blade facing up, right?
I didn't pay attention, but in the video, yes,
And it
I
becomes
can see
important later when you stab AJ because you didn't try to cut him down, you cut him up, right? Right?
that was not my intent.
Overruled. I believe the witness answered the question.
You had the knife blade up and you're saying you didn't know that?
I didn't pay attention.
As you're holding it there, you've got your thumb on the bottom of the handle, right? Right?
Yeah.
Blade up.
I see that.
Blade's pointing at, looks like at Matty Cohen, right?
Yes,
Nobody else. I'll strike that. After you opened that knife, would it be fair to say that your fear level went down a little bit because now you had your knife open?
no,
All right. But was your fear level going up at that point? I think you said that earlier.
the whole situation was boiling up.
So when you have your knife open, you take a couple step backwards to get away from the situation.
I stood my ground. I stayed in place.
You never backed up one step, did you?
No,
You had your knife out and you were prepared to use it.
to defend myself.
At that point, there's nothing to defend yourself from, right?
I didn't know that.
If I understand your testimony today, now you're acknowledging that you did do something to Matty Cohen, which started off this fight, right?
Overruled. You can answer the question. Yes.
Oh, they approaching.
All right, so let's look at where they're talking about.
Correct?
Can you see
Wait,
this?
hold on.
I did.
You want me to stop sharing?
Wait, Sharon, what? No, let me figure out where.
Okay.
You're testifying.
Should be over in a second. They used white noise in Nebraska too.
Well, I had a case like this that was all based on a video. We should do a live one day with that video.
Oh, with Vendetta?
Yeah.
Vendetta Redwood?
Like
Mr.
they
Smestad,
kept
would you please rephrase the question?
Well, Your Honor, you're testifying today that you did actually make physical contact with Maddie Cohen, right? Before you were punched or anything else, right?
I may have.
You don't
I-
remember that?
Well, I remember what I said, but I went over to push. She was right in my face, right in my space, yelling, and I could smell the alcohol in her breath.
But you'd been drinking too, so might have been your breath.
I didn't have vodka and all the other garbage.
My
Right.
point is, today you testified that you did something physical to Madison Cohen before you were punched, right?
Mm,
Correct?
I don't know if I touched her or not. It's possible that I did.
If your friend Sergio testified last week that he saw you push her and she went flying back a couple of steps, that's what happened, right?
Objection, form,
Sustained.
Were you present when Sergio testified?
objection as to form and relevance.
Sustained.
After you pushed Maddie Cohen, only one person ever punched you, right?
From the video,
Right.
that's what I see. I don't remember what happened there at that time.
I'm not asking you what you remember. I'm asking what actually happened.
I got punched.
Objection, no foundation.
Sustained. Rephrase the question.
We
Start.
saw in the video that only one person ever punched you, right?
Yes.
Objection.
It's crossed. It's not
Hold
legal.
on. Yes.
Oh, good God.
My Lord.
Nothing worse than white noise.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't get the 10-second bleep loops. I don't know why.
I think it's your arrow button. I can't remember.
Objection sustained. Let's move on.
Yeah. You hear me, babe?
Yeah. You mean on the
You
map?
testified that you went down and you fell down in the water when you were punched, right?
Yes.
And you indicated, I
that's-
think, that you were punched in your jaw, I think on your left side of your body.
Yes.
You testified that you fell back in the water and hit your head, right?
Yes.
You did not drop your knife.
No.
Right? You held on to it when you fell down into the water.
Yes.
When Dante Carlson hit you, he was holding a can of beer in one hand, right?
Yes.
He was fighting you with one hand.
Yes.
Fuck's that?
You
Knocked his ass to the ground.
never suffered any kind of bruising or cuts to your face from this incident, right?
On the inside of my cheek.
You cut the inside of your cheek.
Yes.
Yeah, you never had any bruising on your jaw, right?
I don't remember. I mean, I had a beard. I couldn't tell.
You weren't bleeding from your face anywhere.
No, not that I know.
Um, let's play the video of him stabbing. Once you're knocked down in the water, AJ Madison comes up to you and pushes on your back, right?
Objection, no foundation.
Sustained.
We'll play the video.
Or you want me to play it, babe?
What?
unless they're going to move to it.
The video?
If they're not going to turn towards it.
Yeah, you can put it up.
You were pushed in the back by AJ Madison, right?
Objection, no foundation.
Overruled.
There she is.
Can you mute that so we can hear the testimony?
Oh, yeah. Can you still hear the testimony?
I think so. I don't know.
So let's go to where he's pushed in the back again. I think that's the smile they're talking about. There, she pushed him there.
Oh my God. I mean, it's like a, yeah, I don't. All right, throw the trial back up.
Look at the angle of my arm.
We're stopped at timestamp 156. You see your knife,
Yes,
how close it is to his jaw, his chin?
yes.
That's because when you stabbed him, instead of pulling out, you went up, right?
I was falling backwards with the knife in my arm, in my hand,
You can
and
actually
the
see
angle of my
that.
arm was about the same. Just got hit in the throat.
This is the moment. You can see he's sort of falling back. Yes, he is. You know, I got to pause there. And then he actually went right back. So it's him getting up. There, he's got the knife. Well, right there, he just stabbed a guy. I mean, that he wasn't falling or anything. We haven't gotten to that part. They're going to get to that next.
Here, throw the video back up, the trial.
I don't control that. You do.
Oh,
You know that he told Dante Carlson to back up, right?
Objection, foundation.
Overruled.
Do I know from video and from testimony? Yes. At the time, I didn't know.
it's like this prosecutor's never been in a chaotic situation. It's like, you know, like you don't.
After
you're
you
not
stabbed
thinking
AJ Madison, you were pushed back into the water, right?
Just sorry, it's AJ Carlson.
Pardon me. No, it's not. It's not.
AJ Martin.
It's AJ Madison. He's not part of the Carlson family. Martin.
Thank you.
Pardon me. After you stabbed AJ Martin, you were pushed back into the water, right?
Yes.
Nobody jumped on top of you.
No.
Nobody was kicking at you or punching you.
No.
You're just in the water by yourself, right?
Apparently, yes.
We're going to take a look at the video starting at 1:55.
All right. That's the
That's
one right
you in the water, still holding your knife, right? Pardon me, this is before you got up.
Want me to share again, babe, or no?
At this point, you're standing
Yeah,
there.
I'll pause the trial.
There's nobody hitting you.
When Allie shows the video, are you guys still hearing the audio or no?
I don't think so. I think I take over. But
Okay.
let's see. You hit play and we'll see.
Well, we've done it twice.
Okay.
So did you go to
So-
155?
Yeah, so this is one. Wait, sorry. Yeah, 155. So he's getting up. That's the one where that guy just got, like, like that first stabbing when he's getting up back here. punched in the face, pushed down. Now that was something, right? But now they're talking about this one when he gets back up. This guy comes around, you know, and who knows what he was going to do. But at that point, he still seems sort of dazed. But 155, I think, is the first one that's somewhat, you know, like more justified. That's like he was just being pushed down. He just got up and was like stabbed the person who was coming at him. All right, back to you.
Okay. I think the kid in the yellow was already down. Like that was the first kid he stabbed.
That was the first one, right? That's the 155. Unless they're different
No.
times.
No, when they swing back around, when the video swings back around, you can see the kid in the yellow laying, bleeding out.
Right.
Nobody's punching you, nobody's kicking you, right?
Objection, that's.
That misstates the evidence. He was just punched.
Gentlemen, please come up.
I mean, he's talking about 155, and we're seeing he was just punched. Unless the 155 is different than ours.
No, I don't think so.
Point.
I mean, yeah, there's a
Fight.
second if he's in the water and no one's kicking him.
So
The stabbing is right after they push him down.
Let's continue. Next question, please.
In any event, you were sitting in the water after AJ Martin pushed you over, right?
I landed on my butt
Right.
in the river.
But at that point, the fight didn't continue. People weren't punching on you, right?
At that time, I couldn't tell what was going on
Sure.
around me.
That's at the point that Tony Carlson came over, was yelling at people to back up. Do you remember that?
From the video.
You don't have a memory of that in your head?
I wouldn't
He
either.
separated Dante from you, right?
Objection, no foundation.
Overruled.
this prosecutor's
Right.
clearly never been in a melee. Just don't remember shit
It's
like
from my memory, I don't remember that.
Tony Carlson never punched you, correct?
Correct.
He never kicked you, never pushed you.
Objection.
Overruled.
No.
And you turned around and you stabbed him twice, right?
I couldn't see, I couldn't hear. I didn't know who was punching me, touching me, shoving me, nothing. I was fearing for my life.
You stabbed the guy who tried to break up the fight twice, right?
Unfortunately,
Overruled.
That's what happened, right?
That's what happened.
And luckily for him, he was able to block your first stab, so you stabbed him again, right?
I had milliseconds to think.
Riley Madison, after you stabbed Tony Carlson, you turned around, you got up, you turned around, and you sliced Riley Madison through her left side of her body, right?
Yes.
She wasn't punching you or kicking you.
She came at me and she had her hands on me.
At the time you stabbed her, she had her hands on you.
Yes.
This 115-pound woman,
so that's the thing.
attack
He
you while
stabs
you're
her
standing there
first
holding a knife.
before he gets
She could have been
pushed over.
500 pounds.
That's what I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sorry, sir, but
You've never told anyone ever that Riley Madison attacked you and that's why you stabbed her, right?
He didn't say attacked.
You're
He said he
saying it
had her
today for
hands
the
on her.
first time.
I don't remember this whole thing.
After you stabbed Riley Madison, Isaac Schumann tries to push you, right?
And he lands his hands on my throat. Yes.
But his hands originally weren't anywhere near your throat. They were on your shoulder and your chest, right?
I didn't take measurements, but yeah, from the picture, yes.
And as soon as he touches you, you stab up into his heart with your knife, right?
Objection, no foundation.
Overruled.
He went for my throat and I defended myself. Yes.
Are you saying, we're gonna look at the video.
All right, if they don't
They're going
turn,
to
I
the
put
video.
it right at the same spots. Let's see what they do.
We're gonna start at 2:02, and for anybody who doesn't want to watch, you might want to avert your eyes. Ready?
202, they're starting.
I've got it there if they don't turn the video. All right, here, I'll share it.
Okay.
Doesn't look like it. All right, so this is like 54, I think. So this is the guy right here. You see him at first, like touch his back. He is trying to break it up. He doesn't know what's going on. Then he grabs his neck. So I don't know who got stabbed when and where in that scenario.
I don't know when he got stabbed.
So here's 155. Gets up. That's the first guy. This is where they're like, well, no one's hitting you down there. And there's the guy in the blue who touches him. He reaches out, stabs him twice, grabs him at the neck, stabs again. All right, back to you.
Okay.
We're at 2:05, the timestamp on the video. That's Isaac Schumann, right? If you
Right.
don't,
Right.
his left hand on your arm, right?
Right.
His right hand on your chest, right?
Right.
They're not on your throat.
In that particular frame.
And
Correct.
your right hand is cocked, your elbow's bent, right?
Okay.
And you've got the knife in your hand.
Yes.
Let's play it through, please. And as he's pushing you, you jam your knife up into his heart, through his rib cage, right?
After he touches my throat and pushes me back. Yes. Correct.
There were two jabs.
As your
before that.
arm is moving up to stab him, you actually moved his arm closer up your, farther up your body with your own movement, right?
I don't know how to answer that. I didn't see that.
At the time that this incident happened, you agreed you weighed 248 pounds.
Yes.
Not one of these people that you stabbed so far in the video were armed in any fashion, right?
Right.
You told an elaborate story about people pulling knives on you, right?
Objection, argumentative form.
Overruled.
Overruled, yeah, he did.
Right? You made up that story.
To Brandy Hart.
Lieutenant Hart, yes.
I don't remember that, but I saw the video. Yes.
At no point did anybody pull any knife on you, right?
Correct.
You're the only person who had a knife.
Correct.
You had said earlier that you had waved for your friends to come over because you were so scared, right?
We saw that.
Right?
During we're moving back in time now.
Oh, yeah. Earlier you had waved. We saw the
Yes.
video. You said you had
Yes.
waved to your friends because
Yes.
you were scared. Your fear level was at whatever. And in fact, Ariel came over, right?
Yes.
And he's in the group at the point that Riley Madison's standing there bleeding into the river, right? He's standing
Yes.
right behind him.
Yep. Yep.
And at the time that you stabbed Tony Carlson, Ariel's right there, right in the group, correct?
See that in the video? Yes.
And when you stabbed Isaac Schumann, he's also standing there, right?
I didn't see him there at the time, but yes, in the video, yes.
So this narrative about it being 13-on-1, you had a friend there, right?
Just said he didn't see him, except on the video.
Your friend was standing right there. He's in the video, right?
In the video. I don't remember him being there.
You saw him coming, walking downstream.
I don't remember.
You waved for him, right?
I waved at my group.
At no point when you stabbed Tony, Riley, and Isaac, did you call out to your friend and say, hey, help me, they're attacking me, right? Even though he's in the frame and he's close to the action, so to speak. You never said that, right?
I was stunned. Couldn't talk.
The knife was to
The last
separate.
person you stabbed was Dante Carlson, right?
Yes.
And this is in the sequence of events, everything else had happened, right?
Yes.
Sustained.
All the other stabbings had already occurred, right? At the point that you stabbed Dante Carlson.
Yes.
He wasn't punching you at that point.
I was surrounded. People were coming at me. I just came up a couple of times, being punched in the head, punched in the mouth. I fell on river rocks. I was in pain. I was hurting.
Tony Carlson had broken up the fight between you and Dante never hit you again after that, did he?
Objection. That's
There was no way he could have known that that guy was breaking up the fight.
At the point that you stabbed Dante Carlson, he
You have
was
no
not
way of
fighting with
knowing
you,
anything
right?
that's going on in that situation.
Correct.
He had not punched you immediately
I'm just
before
trying
you
to tell
decided
you,
to stab
if
him.
you've never been in a fight with a group
In
of
fact, you
people,
took a
you have
couple
no
steps
idea
toward him
what's
to
going
stab
on.
him.
None.
Didn't you?
I thought he was attacking me.
What I was saying, sitting here in chat, it's easy to pick and poke, but when you're in a situation like that, you just don't know what's going on.
So at that point, you stabbed 5 people and you decide to leave the area. Is that true?
I walked away.
You walked up to Ernesto, right?
Yes.
You didn't say anything about being attacked, right?
I was in shock.
You said they took my knife, right? To Ernesto.
I don't remember that, but that's what I said according to all the video and
Well, if Ernesto said that, that's what you
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
You still got the knife on your person, right? Even though you just told them they took your knife, you still had it. Right?
no. When I reached the tubes,
No. When Ernesto came walking up and you walked up to him, you told him they took my knife. It's the first thing out of your mouth, right?
I don't remember that.
Okay. Instead of walking to your group, you walked up to the south shore of the lake, of the river, right?
Yes.
And on the way, you washed off the knife in the river.
I don't remember that.
Well, you had blood on your hand and on the knife, right?
Yes.
When you left the area, right?
Yeah.
When you got back to your group, nobody saw any blood on your hands or, right?
objection foundation.
Sustained.
At some point, you rinsed your hand and the knife in the water, right?
I don't remember that. But
But what you do remember is throwing the knife up into the bushes on the south bank.
Right on the bank, yes.
And then you finally walked over to your group, right?
As I was walking, I threw it away, yes.
No, no, you walked out of your way to get to the south bank to get rid of it and then walked back across the river to your group, right?
Overruled.
That's what you did, right?
Yes.
We're gonna play the video taken by Larry and Davis, Judge. It's grainy, but it's of some value.
You have many more questions?
Yes.
Well, maybe this will be a good time to take a break. Let's recess and we'll come back at 2:50. Please take the jury out.
250. See, it might be far enough behind to. Let me see how far behind I am. There we go.
Mr. Smestad.
Mr. Miu, I want to ask you some more questions about the stabbing of Dante Carlson. Is it fair to say that you did not know that Larry and Davis was recording that part of it?
No.
And you've seen that video here in court?
Yeah.
You are the person in the dark shorts, correct? In that video?
It was not very clear, so I couldn't make out who was who.
Right, if there's a person wearing dark shorts with the same body type as you in the video, is it you?
Third,
Hold on. Sustained.
Well, we're gonna watch the video. We're gonna watch it through at full speed. Your screen's not on. We're gonna play part of it, but slower, but not the end part. We're ready. What's the time? Yeah. So at the very beginning. And Mr. Miu, do you see yourself in the left-hand side foreground wearing the dark shorts? Where the cursor's pointed?
I can't make out.
You don't know if that's you?
No.
Did anyone else on the river have the same body shape that you had at the time?
Objection, no comment.
Sustained.
You've been in court since the beginning of the trial, right?
Correct.
You've seen all these people testify,
Yes.
the people that were all involved in the incident, right?
Yes.
At the time that you stabbed these folks, there wasn't anybody else in that area of the river that had the same body shape as you, correct?
Objection, no comment.
Sustained. It's the same question.
You're aware that Dante Carlson's wearing shorts that are black on the bottom and light gray on top, right?
That's what I learned.
We're gonna go through slowly.
Yes.
you got rid of the knife,
Objection sustained, lack of foundation.
in any event, after you got rid of the knife on the south side of the river, you walked back to the north side of the river where your group was in the at the sandbar, right?
Yes.
Sat in your tube. Did you sit down in your tube?
Yes.
Eric Williams from your group, realizing that people were hurt, left.
Objection, form, lack of foundation. that Eric Williams-
Sustained.
Did you see Eric Williams leave your group?
No,
At some point, did you notice he wasn't with your group anymore?
I didn't do a head count, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Did anyone else from your tubes go to help with the folks on the river that were hurt?
No foundation.
Overruled. Can answer the question.
I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention to anybody in my group.
When you went back to your tube, you put your shirt back on, right?
I was cold. Yes.
And you put on your hat, right?
Yes.
And your sunglasses.
Yes.
Eventually, you saw police officers and emergency medical technicians show up on the river, right?
Yes.
Wading up the river, right?
Yes.
Trying to help people that had been injured, and
Objection, no foundation.
Overruled.
you saw that happen, right?
Yes.
You didn't approach anybody to say you were attacked, as far as law enforcement or EMTs or anything like that, right?
No, I just pooped myself. I was afraid to go in that area.
Even
I'm
though there's
sorry.
police presence everywhere, you were afraid to walk over there and tell them, hey, this is what happened.
Yes, sir.
So you got in your tube and you floated down the river.
Not immediately. We waited there. We had people, from what I learned, not that I remember, that called 911, and yeah, I don't remember any of that stuff. So I don't remember.
So do you remember waiting for Eric Williams to come back to join your group so you could leave?
I don't remember.
All right, do you remember saying, let's go? You yourself saying that?
Objection, asked and answered. Daly City.
Overruled. Overruled.
I don't remember.
Ernesto Torres, he's your best friend.
Yes.
You didn't tell him what happened as you were floating away?
I didn't talk to him. I don't remember talking to anybody. I don't even remember going down the river or up the river. I was just stunned. I don't remember anything.
You didn't tell Ernesto, I was afraid for my life and I did this?
No.
You never told Ernesto that I acted in self-defense?
I don't remember talking to anybody.
You didn't say I was afraid they were going to kill me, these folks?
Objection, no foundation. City doesn't-
Overruled.
I don't remember.
As you were leaving the area, you saw folks giving CPR to Isaac Schumann, right?
I didn't see that.
All right. Eventually, you made it down to Village Park where the exit was, right?
Eventually.
And there's some video of you relaxed in your tube, kind of playing in the water with your hand, right?
Objection is to form.
Sustained.
Do you remember seeing the video of you
I remember seeing the video.
relaxing in your tube before you got back to the end?
Objection is to form.
Sustained.
Did you see the video or not?
I said I did.
When you got to Village Park, your group exited the river, right?
Yes.
There was multiple police in the area, right?
Yes.
You saw a uniformed officer with his gun drawn, walking towards you, right?
Right.
You didn't approach that officer.
I was afraid of everybody at
You were
that
afraid
time.
you were afraid of the officer?
I was afraid of anything and everybody. I was afraid of anything. I couldn't, I was still in shock, so I was afraid of everything. Yes.
You didn't approach the officer and say, they tried to kill me, I defended myself, Nothing like that, right?
I don't remember saying anything like that to anybody.
You walked right by him, right?
All that is a blur. I don't remember it.
Once you got further up the path, though, other officers were able to pick you out of your group, right?
Apparently, yes.
They stopped you, right, before you could leave the park.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember the police stopping you and detaining you in the park after this incident?
I remember being stopped, but I don't remember the details.
Sure. You were aware that the police had a picture of you from the river, right?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Do you remember the police had to take your hat and glasses off to make sure that it was you in the picture?
Nope. I was focused on one thing only. Somebody with a bat that I've seen in the woods and across that whatever bridge, the little bridge, Rainbow Bridge, whatever. I was focused on him. I was very afraid of that person.
Did you ever say to the officer, hey, there's a guy over there with a bat and that's concerning me. Can you do something about it?
No.
You're put into a squad car, right?
Mhm.
But yes,
Yes.
Sheriff Knudsen came over to make sure you were comfortable, right?
I saw that in the video. Yes.
You don't remember talking to Sheriff Knudsen?
No.
You remember him asking you, well, if you don't remember, you don't remember. We're going to play that video and then I have some questions for you. Your Honor, this is the longer version of the video that's been referenced. It's 1 minute and 59 seconds.
House when you're ready.
Camera recording started.
Still doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going
Temperature's okay in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear somebody got stabbed. And I fit the description.
Yes, you do.
All right.
Yep. So we're working through that now. Did you see that fight on the river?
I heard about it.
You heard about it?
Yeah, and I seen people gather around.
Okay. All right.
And I went over to talk to see if somebody saw anything, but that's about it.
Okay.
Our whole group was pretty interested in finding out what happened.
Okay. And that's your whole group over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. Okay, well,
Did you see anybody injured?
no.
You didn't see anybody injured? No. Did you see anybody fighting?
I heard people screaming at each other, yes.
Okay. Screaming in anger or screaming in pain, do you know?
Everybody's drunk, so I don't know. I can't tell the difference, but I would say, I don't know, just screaming. Calling each other names. That's seen that all day. And we've all been drinking a lot. I'm sure they're drunk. I'm sure they're doing, I don't know, kids being kids.
Kids being kids. Where's your group from? Where did you drive from today?
I drove from Fire Lake.
From Fire Lake. Okay.
Actually, I've been driving weekend.
Your wife and you? And you met the group there?
Yeah, but we know each other.
Okay. All right. As long as the temperature's good, I'll check back with you in a minute, okay? Thank you.
You lied to Sheriff Knudsen, right?
I don't remember that conversation, but yes,
You told him that you heard there was a stabbing, right?
I don't remember any of this stuff.
You're fishing for information about what happened, right?
I don't know what you could say. I was fishing. I don't know.
You asked him some questions about what had happened, right?
Again, I don't remember this conversation.
But you were pretending that you didn't know what happened. Is that true?
No.
At the point that you were talking to Sheriff Knudsen and saying these things, You didn't know there was a video of what happened on the river, did you?
I didn't know whether I was dead or alive at that point.
She also didn't know that there was a video, right?
No,
When the sheriff asked you what had happened, one of your responses was it was kids being kids, right?
I don't remember any of that conversation.
You just heard yourself say it on the video, though.
So
Objection, no foundation.
Sustained.
I'll move on. Prior to being taken to jail, you were transferred from that squad car that you were in to a different squad car, right? Remember that? You remember at some point Deputy Thomason telling you that you were under arrest for homicide and attempted homicide?
I don't remember any of
Remember
that.
When you spoke with Lieutenant Hart, even though you'd been informed that you were being arrested for homicide, you pretended to know that, to not be aware that someone had died, right?
Overruled.
Right? When you were talking to Lieutenant Hart, you,
Over here at the jail?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that conversation.
you don't recall pretending to not be aware that someone had died.
Objection assumes fact.
Sustained.
When you're talking to Lieutenant Hart, that was about 4 hours after you'd been arrested, right?
Yeah, that's what I learned.
And said you had time to put together a story, right?
No,
Overruled.
You had 4 hours to come up with a story about what happened on the river before you were interviewed by Lieutenant Hart, right?
no,
You didn't have that time.
I didn't put a story together.
So when you told her things like, 2 of these boys pulled knives on me, you're telling the truth?
No,
That was a story, right?
correct.
And when you said that you somehow managed to grab one of the boys' arms and bend their wrist back and stab them with their own knife, that's a story you made up, right?
I told her what I remembered.
You remember doing that?
No, everything I told her is what I remembered at that time.
At the time you told her these things, you thought that you would grab someone's arm and stab them with their own knife?
As you can see, I was very confused.
Did you not testify earlier that you lied about the knife?
That I did.
And then
I did.
nobody else had a knife on the river except for you.
That I lied about the knife.
So it's impossible then for you to have twisted someone's arm and stabbed them with their own knife, right?
I saw the video.
No, I'm asking what you said
It's-
to Lieutenant Hart.
I don't remember the interview, but I saw the video. And
You're
and
aware,
I know that it's not right. It's not true.
not just a couple of little lies, but lie on top of lie to Lieutenant Hart, right?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
Well, let's talk about some of the things you told her. You said, these boys took the goggles off my head and threw them down the river, right? You told her that?
If that's what the video recorded, yes.
All right, you told her that these boys tried to pull down your shorts, right?
That's what I saw in the video, but I don't remember the interview.
That's a detail you added for your benefit, right?
No,
You said these boys attacked you, right? You told her that multiple times, right?
I saw the video.
Did you say that or not? Yes or
I
no?
said that in the video. Yes,
And you knew that wasn't true, right?
so in the video, I lied, I totally lied about the knife. I didn't remember a lot of details. I didn't remember of anything. I don't even remember the interview. I just, looking at the video, I can look at it like anybody would look at it for the first time. I don't remember any of that.
You told Lieutenant Hart that these boys told you, don't run away from us. Remember saying that?
Objection, no foundation.
Overruled.
No,
In fact, it's just the opposite. They were telling you to go, right?
I don't remember.
I mean, just say I lied.
You did.
You told her that a second boy had a knife, attacked you with the knife, and you took that from him, right?
I lied.
That's what I saw in the video.
That's not true either, right? Right?
That's not true.
You said that when you walked back to your group, and this is talking to Lieutenant Hart, that Ernesto asked you if you had found the phone, right? Remember saying that to her?
I don't remember any of that conversation I had with her.
Yeah, that wasn't true either, right?
If this is all part of that interview, I don't remember anything.
Yep.
So
That's what we're talking about. We're talking
Right.
about the interview with Lieutenant Hart.
then I don't remember the interview.
Okay, I still get to ask you questions about it.
Sure.
You were specifically asked, did you have a knife? Right? Do you remember being asked that?
It's not
I
asked
don't
and
remember
answered.
that, but I know I was.
Your
Really?
answer to Lieutenant Hart was no, no, absolutely no, right?
Right.
I lied.
Which I lied. I know I lied about the knife.
You said to her, why did they want to scare me with a knife? Right? Talking about the boys, I mean, the 17-year-olds. When none of them ever had a knife, right? Is that right?
Apparently not.
See, that's where you they didn't have a knife. You knew it from the
Said I
beginning.
grabbed it, meaning the knife, from him because he tried to poke me with it.
I lied.
Do you remember saying that?
Nope.
You said a woman hit you in the ear. Do you remember saying that?
Nope.
You know that's not true, right?
Objection, foundation.
Did a woman not hit him in the ear?
You know that's not true as you sit here now, right?
Right.
You told the police and Lieutenant Hart, I think, that you thought it was two different groups of people fighting against each other, right?
I don't remember telling her that.
You know, as you sit here today, that is completely made up, right?
What he needs to be asking is, at the time you said that,
Again, I
You knew
don't
that.
remember any of that you're talking about right now. If it's
told-
about the interview.
You told Lieutenant Hart that you wanted to stay in the area and watch the police come and arrest these people for fighting, right? That's what you told Lieutenant Hart?
That's what's in the transcript. Yes.
When you were told that a person had died, your response was, is it because they fought each other? That's what you told her, right? That's how you responded?
If it's in the transcript.
All right, I got bad news, y'all. I got to be on Core TV at 5:00. I've got to start getting ready for that. Allie's got to pick Scarlett up from play rehearsal. So sadly, I had wanted to watch all this. You guys can obviously jump over to Law and Crime or Core TV. They're both airing it and watch it. I'll probably watch the rest of it tonight. So sorry for the mishaps early with my tech incompetence. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow morning, as much as I kind of want to stream this thing, I've got to do we're gonna do Daybell with Jay, at least until I can't do it anymore, which is probably Karen Reed. But we thank you guys so much for hanging with us today. We're super grateful, and of course we adore you. And I've sent everybody to Steve and Publicly Buzz stream tonight. I've redirected you, put the portal in. You should definitely check those guys out tonight. It's gonna be a good one. Steve always digs and digs and digs and finds great videos of things are off the beaten path, which is cool because it's nice to watch things that everybody's not covering. So
And
you
thanks,
guys rock.
Desi and Jersey Jen and all of you as well.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys for keeping it civilized in the chat. I realize this is a case where got opposing sides, like most cases, but like these types of cases are different. You know, it's not like a whodunit. Like these self-defense cases are like, were they justified or were they not justified in their actions? So it's a very different scenario. So people can look at things and view things differently. And I think a lot of things come into play in terms of our age, our life experiences. You know, all those things are factors for us when we look at these things and reach our own conclusion. So it's interesting. I love it. I love the conversations in here. I love that there's people in here that are like, I don't think he was justified. I think he was the instigator. I think he caused all of it. And, you know, and there's the opposite side of it as well. So, and then Allie and I will most likely be doing a Delphi live tomorrow night. I saw that look on Allie's face, the look of
No, it's fine.
yeah. So
I know everything's been going on, so I'll get up to speed.
Yeah, me too. I got to read the documents. We missed a few documents because, of course, that case never sleeps. So, all right. We love you guys. If you haven't, make sure you sub, share, like all the things with YouTube that help us grow the show. Yeah, it helps us. It helps us. And if you really like it, become a member.
There's a little.
We love them. Yeah. All right, y'all. We love you. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Let's go put the end little outro.